Oh. Welcome to day 500 of Meaningful Mornings. A popular movement that is happening right now is related to Global Citizen. This is a group that encourages humanitarianism. Most people think of Global Citizen as a concert with artists like Beyonce and Pearl Jam. As I think of this really lovely idea of being a global citizen, my mind drifts to an icon of a global citizen. His name was Raja Prithu. Please burn that name into your minds. He is everyone's role model. He cared for the globe so much that the earth became known as Prithvi, which means the daughter of Prithu. That's how much he loved Earth, the globe. He had shared with his citizens are all, what it means to be a global citizen. A global citizen is one who follows dharma, facilitates dharma, and felicitates dharma. Follow, facilitate, felicitate. And if you think deeply of this message, really what he's sharing is dharma samstapana. A global citizen is one who establishes or rebalances dharma. What is dharma? One's nature, responsibilities. Then all is in rhythm. And I confidently feel that this is what we've been doing together for 500 days. What we were doing before that, I don't know. But for the last 500 days, this is what we've been doing. In chapter 4, verse 7 and 8, Shri Krishna answers Prince Arjuna's question 2, why Avatara? And the main why is to protect. Part of protecting is correcting. Then in verse 9, he takes us to an idea that we're usually not exposed to. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti sorjuna. In essence, he shares, the one who knows Avatara is an Avatara. He says, mat eti, which means comes to me, which is the same as being me. Why this is a novel message for us is because usually we have an external relationship with an Avatara. That's what a protector is to us. Just think of your relationship with a police officer. They go there, you go here. But here Sri Krishna is sharing the one who knows is. And now the deeper implication to this, the one who knows is that there are no avatars, there is only presence. One only needs protection when one feels insecure. But if one feels infinite, then there's no need for a protector, there's no need for play, just presence. He emphasizes this more in verse 10. Vitaraga bhaya krodhaha manmaya mamupashitaha bahavo jnana tapasa bhuta madbhavamagataha. What does it mean to be an avatara, but specifically to be presence? He shares mat bhavam. Mat means me, as in Sri Krishna. Bhava means being. One is being. The only facet of this multiverse that is being is existence, awareness, joy. All else is becoming. Politics, weather, our bodies, the intellect. I'm highlighting this word bhavam because some of you may think, but we were never taught this about avatara. And that's why I shared this is a journey. And I'm trying to point out to you, that an avatar is more than a protector, is a presence. And what is the nature of this presence? Vita, which means free of. Krodha, that is anger. The cause of krodha, fear, bhaya. Free of that too. The cause of bhaya, raga, or attachment. Free of that too. And I shared yesterday, the cause of attachment is vikshepa, or projection. Free of that too. The cause of vikshepa or projection, avidya, or forgetfulness. The one who is being presence has no anger or fear or attachment or presence because they've not forgotten who they are. So they're free. That seems quite lofty for us. How? Tell me in detail how I can tune into this presence. Mat maya. Because of Sanskrit, man maya, mat maya. Here, maya means to be filled with. Like chinmaya, the one filled with chit. For us, annamaya, the one filled with food. We should fill ourselves with the name, the form, and the virtues of avatara. In this case, Sri Krishna. Fill yourself up with his name. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. His form. For those in our Bhagavatam course, I constantly lead you through visualizations about his form. Qualities. Sri Krishna has more responsibilities than Prince Arjuna, but is more cheerful. That's a plan for us. Once we've prepared ourselves by filling ourselves up with Sri Krishna's nama, rupa, guna, mat upashitaha, then one should go deeper and go from Sri Krishna to this presence or the creator to consciousness. How? Dhamma. Dhamma means locus. Whatever you're worshiping to become that. From loving to being, upashitaha means to surrender. Surrender what? The ego. When I forget about my name, my form, my qualities, I really forget about my sense of individuality. And that's when I feel infinity. In chapter 2, Sri Krishna shared qualities or signs of the one who is the greatest. The key being they are content, independently joyous. In chapter 3, Sri Krishna shares with Prince Arjuna, many have become content, following the path that he just shared in verse 10. And he shares these many as those who are far away, figures like Raja Janaka. Now in chapter 4, he's sharing the same message. What are signs of those who are the greatest? And many have become the greatest. And he's pointing to himself now. I am the greatest, as in Sri Krishna. And look how close you are to the greatest. So become the greatest. Raja Janaka is far away. Sri Krishna is close. We should all feel that too, how close he is to us. Now highlighting one more phrase for all of you. Jnana tapasa. And why this is important to note, because 18 verses from now, the word jnana yajna is going to be introduced. A phrase we're very used to. Jnana tapasa. All that Sri Krishna has described in terms of practices. On knowing avatara, he's calling this jnana tapasa. Tapa means to burn. Tapa means to burn. I shared in a recent spiritual parenting workshop that we're all engaged in tapa, but not in the good tapa. Our tapa is stress. Our tapa is anxiety. We're always burning, and we've normalized this negative tapa. Yes? When you don't feel stress, you feel there's a problem. We have to change this too. The tapa that helps us to evolve. So Sri Krishna describes this as jnana tapasa, the burning that makes us quieter. And I'll give you a story about this. When Swami Chinmayananda was a student of Puja Swami Tapovana, his guru, then one day they were living in Uttarkashi, which is very cold, uncomfortable. He was watching this man who would go every morning to the Ganga and go into that cold water really up to his chin. So Swami Chinmayananda tried one morning and couldn't do it. Tried again, couldn't do it. Tried again, couldn't do it. And so he felt that person is strong. Look at how much tapa, discomfort they're experiencing in a good way, and I can't do it. So in his dejection, he had packed up his belongings and was leaving that ashram. And fortunately, Puja Swami Tapovana saw him and said, Chinmaya, where are you going? And he described to him that I'm weak. That man is so strong. Look at the cold water he's enduring. And Swami Tapovana said, and that man is looking at you and how every morning in a disciplined way, you read, you write, you reflect. That's jnana tapasa. He's engaged in tapas. You're engaged in a jnana tapasa. And I feel the same way about all of you. This is a much more difficult tapas than using an elliptical for an hour at 7:45 a.m. Discomfort helps us to grow. I think about having 2 children. They make one uncomfortable. They make me uncomfortable in comprehensive ways. Like my water bottle, my older son is constantly using that and backwashing. So every time I drink from that bottle, I'm sort of uncomfortable about what's in there. My morning time and so on. But I know this is not just tapas, this is jnana tapasa. It's training for me. Now, what we're doing together is trying to burn our sense of individuality. That we are to be protected by an avatara, burn that idea, and instead be an avatara. And that's uncomfortable for the typical person, but we're facilitating this with knowledge. We are Putana. Remember I shared that yesterday. Putana is the one who's impure. In Bhagavatam, she's described as being hypnotic, and she hypnotized all those around her. But her grace was that she held on to Sri Krishna, an icon of balance. And what happened to her? She just became Puta. Putana, impure. Puta, the one who's pure. I consciously am not explaining verse 11 because this will become your rad for a few days. Let us read it together. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tamstateva bhajamyaham mama vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvashaha. The translation from Swami Chinmayananda. In whatever way humans approach me, even so do I reward them. My path do humans tread in all ways, O son of Pritha. The only reflection I'll share with you on this verse, this teaching is about unity. Unity. You reflect on what is the best way to follow and facilitate and felicitate unity. Is it through converting others, which is really by force, or is it by accepting others, which is really being natural? Reflect on that. From inspiration to application, a recent application was you reflecting on what Dharma does for you. Dharma, or being responsible, is really being dependable. Being responsible is equivalent to being dependable. Those who are dependable are independent. We all want to be independent. How? Be dependable. How? Follow your responsibilities. Another application that was shared with you is to recommit to self-development. Self-development is a means to being happy. Sometimes parents will tell people, to their kids, be religious, but don't be too religious. That's the same as saying, be happy, but don't be too happy. This is the means to being happy. Why wait? And I've shared your application for today. Reflect on how this verse applies to humanity. The COP26 is happening in Glasgow. The G20 summit is happening in Rome. What if this verse was shared with all? Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be happiness.